Forza Motorsport cancelled after 20 years? That's the headline flooding social media and news right now, and I've been getting some messages asking what I think about it. News outlets are declaring the franchise dead, and even fellow content creators are treating this as confirmed fact. But here's the thing, almost none of this is actually confirmed. So let me break down what we actually know versus what's just speculation, because there's a dangerous amount of misinformation flying around that I think needs to be addressed. Why do I even care, even though there have been almost no videos at all on this channel about Forza Motorsport in recent months? Well, the fact of the matter is, this channel would not be where it is right now if it wasn't for Forza Motorsport. Even though I don't play much of it anymore, this news still hit me hard, because Forza Motorsport isn't just another racing game to me. It's literally the reason this channel got started. Yes, I had a couple of ACC videos up before, but I had no real intention of building a channel and community around it. But when the latest Forza Motorsport was announced, I was so excited that I went all in on making videos on it, specifically for its release. That's right, HD Racing as it stands right now only exists because of Forza Motorsport. My very first videos were all about this game, and I was completely committed to building my channel around it. Now, I'll be honest, the start was rocky. The game had issues, the community was frustrated, and making content about a game that people were constantly criticizing wasn't easy at times. But I still enjoyed every minute of making those videos. There was something special about being part of that journey, documenting the game's evolution and connecting with other fans who were going through the same experience. Over time though, as things weren't improving as quickly as I'd hoped, I started branching out. I wanted to make videos on other sims like ACC again, because I felt like I needed to diversify and show you guys more of what the sim racing world had to offer. Eventually, I made the decision to completely focus on other sims. LMU has now become a huge part of my content, and I'm incredibly excited about AC Evo's future. It wasn't that I stopped caring about Forza Motorsport, but my priorities shifted. And with limited time, that meant focusing on one or two things at a time. Now, I think things have gotten quite a bit better with Forza Motorsport recently, especially with update 20. The game is in a much better place than it was at launch, but as I said, I haven't had much time to invest in making videos on it or even playing it much anymore, which is why you haven't seen much Forza content from me in the recent months. And regardless of what happens with Forza Motorsport's future, that probably won't change anytime soon. I've found my passion in other sims, and that's where I want to focus my energy. But seeing headlines about the franchise potentially dying, that still hit me right in the gut. This is the game that started it all for me. But I'm still saying potentially dying, so let's finally start with what actually happened and work our way through the chaos. Following some earlier waves, at the beginning of July, Microsoft announced more layoffs across the entire gaming division. Around 9,000 jobs were cut in total. This wasn't just Xbox, this hit studios across the board. Some studios were completely shut down, others barely affected, and some just got hit really hard. Turn 10 Studios, the developers behind Forza Motorsport, unfortunately fell into the last category. Multiple reports suggest anywhere from 40 to 70% of their workforce was let go. We're talking about potentially 100 plus people losing their jobs at the studio that's been making Forza Motorsport games since 2005. That's absolutely devastating for the people affected and a massive blow to the studio. I can't imagine what it must be like for the remaining staff right now. Now here's where the story gets complicated and where the misinformation starts. A former Turn 10 employee named Fred Russell posted on social media claiming that Turn 10 Studios has shuttered the Forza Motorsport team and the team is no more. He called it a very sad day for one of the best racing video games. That post went viral instantly. News outlet picked it up, content creators started making videos about it, and suddenly Forza Motorsport is dead became the accepted narrative. But here's the crucial detail that most people glossed over. Fred Russell left Turn 10 in 2016. That's 9 years ago. He hasn't been involved in the current game's development at all. And when people started asking him about more details about what this meant for the future of the franchise, his follow-up posts were interesting. He basically said he couldn't give deeper details because his role was specialized, he left the company 9 years ago, and even if he knew something, he probably wouldn't be allowed to share it. Wait, what? So he doesn't actually know what's happening internally, but he's making definitive statements about the franchise being dead? Look, I get it. The guy probably has some connections. Maybe he heard something through the grapevine. But there's a huge difference between having some industry gossip and having actual insider knowledge about Microsoft's long-term plans. And this is where I have to call out at least some of my fellow content creators. Please check your sources before declaring a 20-year franchise dead. I know clickbait works. I know Forza Motorsport dead gets more views than Forza Motorsport's future uncertain. But we have a responsibility to our audiences to be accurate. The official Forza subreddit moderators have even posted saying there is no official source, nobody knows anything for certain, and it's all speculative until proven otherwise. So what do I think is actually happening? Well, let me walk you through the most likely scenarios. The current Forza Motorsport was designed as a platform game, meant to be updated and expanded over the years rather than replaced by annual sequels like before. That was the whole pitch. I know it's a meme by now, but built from the ground up meant for the game to be supported long term with regular content updates. With most of the development team gone, those updates are obviously in jeopardy. The question is whether Microsoft will rebuild the team, move development elsewhere, or just let the current game slowly die. The remaining Turn 10 staff might also just focus on supporting Forza Horizon, which is developed by Playground Games. Horizon uses the same engine foundation, so there's definitely value in keeping some Turn 10 people around for technical support. Now, there has been speculation that Forza Horizon 6 will use the new Forza Tech engine from Motorsport, which would require more Turn 10 involvement. If that's actually true, we also don't know. One thing seems quite clear from all of this. The decision about Forza Motorsport future isn't even really in Turn 10's hands anymore. That's going to come from higher up, from Xbox leadership and ultimately Microsoft. And those decisions are probably still being made. Microsoft's broader strategy seems to be shifting resources towards AI development. They've talked about using more AI-generated code and want to invest heavily in that space. From a business perspective, AI is hot right now and investors love it. Cut costs in one area, invest in AI, watch the stock price go up. It's a classic corporate move, but real people pay the price for it. So where does this leave Forza Motorsport? I see a few possibilities. Best case scenario, Microsoft decides the franchise is too valuable to lose and rebuilds the team. Maybe they move development to another studio, maybe they hire back some of the laid-off staff, maybe they partner with an external developer. The middle scenario would be that the current game continues to get minimal support, maybe some car packs, maybe a track here and there, but nothing major. The franchise goes into hibernation until Microsoft decides what to do with it. In the worst case scenario, the current game gets no updates, servers eventually shut down, and Forza Motorsport as a franchise dies with it. Honestly, I think the middle scenario is the most likely in the short term. Microsoft probably wants to see how the dust settles before making any big decisions. But here's what really bothers me about this whole situation and why I'm probably more emotional about it than I should be. The current Forza Motorsport was finally hitting its stride. The recent updates were received well, they had fixed a lot of the launch issues, the physics felt good, and the jump-in and race online system was just as good or even better than at launch. It felt like Turn 10 had learned from their mistakes and was building something. To see that potentially cut short because of corporate budget cuts is just frustrating. Especially when I think about all those early videos I made defending the game's potential, believing that it would eventually become something great. And let's be honest, the racing sim community can't really afford to lose a major franchise like this, especially as a simcade title. We're not exactly drowning in options, even more so on consoles. Gran Turismo is PlayStation exclusive, and while there are great PC sims, Forza Motorsport as a simcade for me is the perfect gateway to those more hardcore sims. I also have to mention the human cost here. Over 100 talented developers just lost their jobs, many of whom had been working on Forza Motorsport for years. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet, these are people with families and careers that just got turned upside down. So what happens now? Well, we wait. We wait for Microsoft to make an official statement about the franchise's future. We wait to see if any updates are still coming to the current game. We wait to see if they'll rebuild the team or move development elsewhere. In the meantime, I think it's important that we support the racing games and developers that we do have who are doing a great job. I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on the Forza Motorsport situation, and we'll see if there's anything official in the coming weeks that is worth an update video. What do you think about all of this? Are you worried about Forza Motorsport's future? Do you think Microsoft will find a way to continue the franchise? Let me know in the comments. If this video helped clarify what's actually happening versus what's just speculation, please hit that like button, it really helps the channel. Thanks for watching, I've been HD Racing, and I'll see you in the next one.